Welcome back to the channel, fellow traders and market explorers. Today we are tackling a beast that terrifies most beginners but enriches the seasoned professionals. We are talking about the chaotic, highly volatile, and deeply misunderstood world of trading, the news. We are diving deep into the core concepts of a practical and revealing guide, The Untold Secrets of Forex News Trading by A.D. Williams. If you have ever watched your trading screen freeze, seen the spread widen to impossible levels, and had your stop loss blown out in the blink of an eye during an interest rate announcement, this video is exactly what you need. Sit back, relax, grab your trading notebook, and let us explore how to profit from the madness of market news. The illusion of the calm market. Most of the time, the market behaves in a way that makes a lot of sense to technical analysts. You look at your charts, you see geometric patterns forming, trend lines being respected, and support and resistance levels holding strong. You place your trades based on these predictable rhythms, but Williams teaches us early on that this calm environment is merely an illusion. It is a temporary state of balance that is completely shattered the moment high-impact economic data hits the wires. When a major central bank changes its monetary policy, or a superpower releases unexpected employment figures, all the careful lines you drew on your chart are instantly rendered meaningless. The market ceases to care about past price geometry and immediately begins repricing the future based on brand new information. Understanding this shift is the very first secret of the news trader. You cannot treat a news event like a normal trading session. It is a totally different environment, requiring a totally different set of tools. Williams emphasizes that beginners fail because they try to use everyday technical strategies during extraordinary fundamental events. They expect a moving average crossover to save them from a massive surge in inflation data. The reality is that fundamental news is the raw fuel of the market. Technical analysis simply maps out where the price has been, but fundamental news dictates exactly where the price is going. Next, to survive and thrive, you must stop fighting the news and start aligning yourself with the massive institutional order flow that news creates. The economic calendar as a treasure map. If you want to trade the news, your most important tool is not a complex indicator or a fancy trading algorithm. It is something completely free and universally available. The economic calendar. Williams describes the economic calendar as the ultimate treasure map for a trader. It tells you exactly when volatility is scheduled to arrive. Think about that for a second. In an unpredictable profession, you are given an exact date, an exact time when the market is guaranteed to move violently. However, simply knowing when a report comes out is not enough. The secret lies in understanding the context of the calendar. Every single piece of data has three numbers attached to it: the previous number, the forecasted number, and the actual number. The entire game of news trading revolves around the discrepancy between the forecast and the actual. Release. The market is a forward-looking mechanism. Institutions have already priced in the forecast days before the event even happens. Therefore, if the actual number matches the forecast exactly, the market often does nothing at all. The explosive moves that we all want to catch only happen when there is a massive surprise, a significant deviation from what the smart money was expecting. Williams teaches us to hunt for these deviations because surprise is the absolute catalyst for momentum. The big movers that command respect. Not all news is created equal. You will see dozens of red folders on your economic calendar every week, but only a select few have the power to shift global currency trends. Williams highlights the specific events that demand your utmost respect and attention. First and foremost are the central bank interest rate decisions. Money flows to where it is treated best, meaning capital moves toward currencies with higher yields. When a central bank unexpectedly raises interest rates, it acts like a giant magnet for global capital, causing that currency to appreciate rapidly. Next is inflation data, specifically the Consumer Price Index. In recent years, inflation has become the most critical metric for global markets because it directly forces central banks to adjust those crucial interest rates. If inflation runs too hot, the market knows a rate hike is coming, and traders begin running that expectation immediately. Finally, we have employment data with the non-farm payrolls report from the United States being the undisputed king of volatility. This single report measures the health of the biggest economy on Earth. A surprise in job creation numbers can cause violent swings across every single currency pair, commodity, and equity index in the world. As a news trader, you do not need to trade every single event. You just need to master the behavior of these massive macroeconomic heavyweights. The psychology of the news trader. Trading the news is not just a mathematical exercise. It is an extreme psychological endurance test. The speed at which prices move during a major release can induce panic in even the most stoic individuals. Williams dedicates significant focus to the mental framework required to navigate this environment. The biggest enemy of the news trader is the fear of missing out. When you see a massive green candle exploding upward on your screen, every human instinct screams at you to buy, to jump on the train before it leaves the station. But experienced news traders know that the initial spike is often a trap. There is a concept known as the whipsaw, where the price rockets in one direction to clear out stop losses, only to violently reverse and trend in the opposite direction for the rest of the day. Surviving this requires immense discipline. You must accept that you cannot predict the news, and more importantly, You do not need to predict the news to make money. Your job is to react to the reality of the price action. Once the dust begins to settle, Williams advocates for a mindset of detached execution. You map out your scenarios beforehand. If the data is better than expected, I will look for this specific setup. If it is worse, I will look for that setup. When the time comes, you execute the plan without hesitation and without emotion. If you feel your heart racing and your hands shaking as the countdown hits 0, your position size is simply too big. Navigating the trap of slippage and spreads. Now we must discuss the dark side of news trading. The mechanical realities of the broker platforms that nobody wants to talk about. The untold secret that ruins many retail traders is the expansion of the spread and the inevitability of slippage. In a normal market, the difference between the buying price and the selling price is incredibly small. But right before a major news event, liquidity dries up. The massive institutional banks pull their orders from the market to protect themselves. Because there are fewer buyers and sellers, the broker widens the spread massively. If you try to enter a trade exactly at the moment the news drops, you will not get the price you see on your screen. You will experience slippage, meaning your order is filled far away from your intended entry point, instantly putting you in a deep loss. Williams warns that placing tight stop losses right before an event is essentially financial suicide, because the widened spread will trigger your stop loss before the price even actually moves. The secret to overcoming this is timing. You either enter the market long before the liquidity dries up, relying on a deeply researched fundamental bias, or you wait completely until the initial shockwave passes. The spreads return to normal and a clear, stable trend establishes itself in the aftermath of the data. The mechanics of the trade life cycle. Let us break down exactly how Williams suggests approaching the life cycle of a news trade. It begins hours, sometimes days, before the actual event. This is the preparation phase. You evaluate the macroeconomic backdrop. What is the central bank currently focused on? Are they worried about inflation, or are they worried about a recession? This context determines how the market will interpret the incoming data. Next, you identify your key technical levels. While technicals fail during the exact second of the release, they are incredibly reliable for determining where a news-fueled rally will eventually run out of steam. Then comes the execution phase. Williams outlines several strategic approaches. The most conservative method is the fade, or the retracement entry. Instead of trading the initial chaotic spike, you wait for the market to calm down. Often, the price will pull back to test the level it originally broke out from. This provides a much safer entry point with a tighter, more reliable stop loss, while still allowing you to ride the fundamental momentum for the rest of the day. The final phase is management. News. Generated trends can last for hours or even days. The secret? Here is to trail your stop loss, locking in profits as the market moves in your favor, rather than setting a rigid, arbitrary profit target that might cut your trade short just as the real move is getting started. Risk. Management in the eye of the storm. If there is only one lesson you take away from Ad Williams, it must be his absolute, uncompromising stance on risk management. News. Trading offers the potential for incredibly fast profits, but it carries an equally fast potential for devastating losses. You must treat every single news event as a highly dangerous environment. The golden rule is absolute capital preservation. Because of the risk of slippage, where price can jump directly over your stop loss without triggering it, you should never risk more than a tiny fraction of your account on a single news event. Williams suggests dramatically reducing your standard position size when trading during high-impact releases. If you normally risk 2% of your account on a standard swing trade, you might drop that to 0.5% for a non-farm payrolls release. The goal is to ensure that even if the absolute worst-case scenario happens, a massive surprise data release, coupled with terrible broker execution, your account survives to trade another day. Longevity is the true secret of the successful trader. You do not get rich from one lucky news spike. You get rich by consistently and methodically exploiting fundamental mispricings over hundreds of different events, building a sustainable trading blueprint. As we wrap up our deep dive into this methodology, the final piece of the puzzle is integration. How do you take these concepts and build a daily routine? Williams encourages traders to stop chasing every red folder on the calendar. Overtrading is the fastest path to ruin. Instead, become a specialist. Pick one or two major events, perhaps inflation data or central bank speeches, and study their historical impact obsessively. Look back at the charts from the last 12 months and observe exactly how the price behaved during those specific releases. Trading the news is a unique skill that bridges the gap between the mathematics of technical analysis and the reality of global economics. It requires patience to wait for the perfect setup, the discipline to ignore the noise, and the courage to execute when the market is in a state of sheer panic. By understanding the true mechanics of liquidity, spreads, and market psychology, you elevate yourself from a gambler reacting to blinking lights to a professional operator capitalizing on human emotion. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the chaotic but rewarding landscape of news trading. I hope this summary provides you with a solid foundation to protect your capital and find high-probability opportunities during the next major market event. If you found this breakdown valuable and want to see more deep dives into the best financial literature out there, Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel